If I may turn now to you, Hassan, your presentation addresses the impact of the conflict on Iran and the revision of strategies that it is undertaking in response to developments over the last 2 years. Thank you.
Thank you, Sean. Bismillah ar-Rahman ar-Rahim. I'll start with thanking Mehran for setting this meeting up, and thank you for showing up. I think the war in and of itself was a war that was not expected, the 12 Days War. And then this war was very much expected. And in between, lots of deliberations happened in Iran in its strategic circles and led to many changes that we saw unfold during the 40 Days War or 39 Days War. And I think these deliberations and these changes are there to stay and to continue. Because it's hard to change a country's strategic mindset, but when a crisis hits a country, the way the 2 wars hit Iran, things start changing. And I think those changes have already started before the war and will continue like never before, at least in Iran's modern history. Those 2 wars came up with huge burden and costs for Iran's economy, its society, its politics, its intellectual debates, its strategic debates, its universities, its infrastructure, all of it was affected. But I think those deliberations are the main outcomes, positive outcomes when it comes to Iran moving forward. Because Iran and its political system, and it's not only about the Islamic Republic, even before the revolution, it was a stagnant strategic mindset that was leading the country, didn't really evolve over time. Now we see evolution like never before, as I mentioned. And I'll touch upon 5 aspects that I see affecting Iran's strategic decisions and moving forward will it affect its strategic conduct in the region and beyond. States and Israel had a plan to attack Iran and limit the war geographically and time-wise. The Iranians decided we are not fighting that war. That's based on the balance of power. We cannot withstand this. We should widen it geographically and time-wise. And that's what happened, basically. And it took the United States and Israel by surprise, and many in the region, and many in Iran as well, because we're not used to this Iran, the way it dealt with the aggression it faced in the region. By the United States and Israel, of course. That, I think, is there to stay. The Iranians will never fight others' wars. They will fight their own war, their plans, their way of thinking of the foe. And we have to keep in mind that the way Iranians fought in the 39 Days War was based on 2 pillars. One is the 12 Days War and its experience, and the second, assessment of what the enemy will do in the next round of conflict. And that basically helped them come up with the way they fought this 39 Days War. The second change, and I think it's a big shift, is that ceasefires do not last with the United States and Israel. They are only temporary. We can't have an easy deal with the United States. It's basically a continuation of a war by other means. Multi-dimensional wars that are imposed on the country, we see them now, security-wise, in terms of economic pressure, in terms of infiltration, in terms of cognitive warfare that tops all of other aspects of the warfare that is imposed on the country. These are being worked on extensively. And so the Iranians don't see the war stopping. Even the ceasefire did not stop the war. It only stopped the warm aspect of it, that is, turned the war into a cold one with multi-dimensions that are still targeting the country extensively. As I said, I think we are facing the most extensive and intensive cognitive warfare in humankind history waged on Iran at this point as we speak. It never reached this level. And if you look at how Iran is being framed and how it is being targeted, both society-wise and elite-wise, talks of divisions in the country, talks of how the people are reverting to pressure by the system, the elite society connection, All of these, I think, are part of this cognitive warfare that is being waged really extensively against the country. And I think the Iranians are one of the countries that are well aware of some of the aspects of this cognitive warfare. Because when you are subject to a continuous and continuing warfare like the one that we see, you get to some aspect of it and try to cope with them. And the Iranians have learned over the years to cope with aspects of them. But it's evolving by the day, and the Iranians are lagging in technology to come up with solutions to many aspects of them. Thirdly, I think the Iranians realized, and it will be with them, that isolation kills Iran. That is, if you limit yourself to what the enemy wants you to limit, that will kill you. You will dry out and fall. And so you have to come up with strategies that connects your security to global security, your economy to global economy. The United States wanted Iran to be isolated for it to dry down and fall. The Iranians came up with solutions to connect their fall with global economy fall. And I think it worked to a large extent. And I think moving forward, finding ways for global economy to calm down and energy markets to calm down have to go through some sort of a settlement between Iran and the United States. And I think that's a shift we never saw before in Iran's recent history. Fourthly, I think the Iranians came to terms with the fact that it is costs that decide or direct the outcome of a conflict. It's not international law, it's not deals, it's the costs. That's a realization that came late to Iran, and I think it's been missing. The Iranians clung to international law after the United States violated the JCPOA back in 2018, thinking that, well, the international community will help us cope with the situation. The EU will come up with solution for US violation. We will go for different mechanisms to solve the problems that we are facing based on international organizations, international law. Now they came to realization that it doesn't work that way. We have an administration in the United States that doesn't think that way. It imposes costs despite UN Security Council resolutions. It imposes sanctions despite the decisions by the UN Security Council resolutions, and it violates UN Security Council resolutions. 2231 was the one that endorsed the JCPOA. It was violated easily. Came to terms with the fact that you can't just live by sitting on your hands. You have to come up with solutions for this. What is the solution, which is my fifth and last point, is that international affairs and international relations is based on power. You can't just, one of the victims, the main victims in Iran of this war have been Iran's liberals who believed in international law, who believed in organizational capacity of international law. They are the main victims, I think. They started losing ground in Iran back in 2018. By the day they were losing, and these two wars brought them down. They are on the sidelines now. The realists are calling the shots. The realists believe in power. You can't just bank on some facade international community protection. And so these changes are bringing Iran into a different strategic culture. Now, strategic cultures are hard to change. But as I said initially, I think those points are part of a change that is, has hit Iran, and I think moving forward it will be there. And this will change Iran's priorities and its goals and its strategic conduct moving forward. For the first time, we hear Iran's Khatam al-Anbiya talking about if the United States harasses our ships, we will sink their ships. That's never part of Iran's. It's not bluffing. When Khatam al-Anbiya talks, it means the decision has been made and it is directed to do so. When the Iranians set a red line in Lebanon, I think that's unprecedented to my understanding, that this is the threshold we will observe. Otherwise, we will move in. Iran initiating a conflict is not part of Iran's modern history. For 3 centuries, they're talking about that now against their foes, that is Israel and the United States. And I think this is part and parcel of the huge strategic change based within Iran's strategic community that is taking place, and I think will affect Iran's conduct moving forward. I'll leave it there and look forward to the Q&A. Thank you.